Oh my goodness. Today we're talking about Love is Blind, season 5 finale, and it was insanity. Okay, we need to unpack this, and it's like craziness. I just need to start with Lydia. Like, I feel like the biggest change, like the most dynamic person for me is Lydia. Like, I remember how she was begging for love, and I love how she even acknowledged towards the last episodes, right? She acknowledged and said, I kept selecting the wrong people because I never felt like I was enough. Okay, I just got chills. And that's exactly what I did in the past. I know so many of you are doing that, selecting the wrong people because you don't know that you're enough. And so I love, oh my gosh, Lydia, how she came out of this, how she's with Milton and how they are just so in love. And I truly believe it. I see it and I'm just like, she seems so secure in herself, loved for exactly who she is. And she feels that and she's confident because of that and all of that. It's kind of like this whole, she was insecure before, but then she went all in with Milton. And Milton, I'm like, where did he come from? Oh my gosh, like he was 24 when he was on this show. I think he still is, but like whatever. But the way that he has shown up on the show, like it is evidence that age does not matter. Okay, the way that he spoke to Uche, I can't even with Uche. I cannot. Like this guy, man, when I first saw Uche, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's like such a like put together guy. And the way that he spoke at the barbecue, okay, and speaking to women in such a disgusting, disrespectful, condescending tone, little fucker, okay, like seriously, who do you think you are? Nice try. And I love that when Uche was trying to trash Lydia to Milton, the way that he defended Lydia, or is not even defending. He was kind of like, we're on different planes. Like this is like some kind of different dimensional plane. I have no idea. And it's so brilliant. And he's so smart. And I actually understood it as he was saying it. But will I ever be able to speak like that? I don't speak like that. But I totally get what he's saying. He's basically saying, like, Uche, your issue with Lydia and what happened and what went wrong does not affect what's going on with me and Lydia and I and what's happening there. Totally different. So nothing you can say, Uche, is going to change what's happening with Lydia and I. And the way he was saying it was just so smart, so spot on. I loved his energy in it. He was confident. He was calm. He never got riled up. Like Uche was like such a brat. He didn't like the fact that Milton was just not budging. Like it didn't matter what Uche said. Milton was like, I don't care what you're saying. Like nothing you say is gonna matter. And Milton was right to do it. And let me tell you something, that is huge. Like for a relationship, when you have a partner you can trust, and no matter what BS someone is talking about you, they're standing by you. Okay, so I applaud Milton and all 24, not all 24-year-olds, but like you've met like 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds that suck. You know what I mean? Like they're like man childs or whatever, man children. And so like I'm like, this is awesome. I love that Milton's 34 and Lydia's 31 and it doesn't matter and they're aligned. That's the thing. They are aligned. Okay, so I mentioned that before. I'm going to say it again, and that is more obvious now than ever in that reunion. Okay, the way that they had this little reel of like their past year together is just the cutest. And they got married in Puerto Rico again, like with all the family, and it's just like the cutest. I'm such a fan of that couple. I know, and it's different because in the past I was like, Lydia, oh my God, you're so annoying. I totally was annoyed by her, and I was also thinking she's so desperate. But she was desperate for love. But there's something that happened on her journey that I absolutely love is that she really like got vulnerable. She really put her heart on her sleeve. And she was like, when Milton loved her for exactly who she is, I just felt like a match, like a real match. Like I didn't believe it before. I didn't. And now after seeing the reunion, like you have to see it. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. I totally believe it. I totally believe that they're really in love. And so like moving along to Uche, like, oh my gosh, like I am beyond like grossed out by him. Like I just am. I'm kind of grossed. I get grossed out by people like this where they just disrespect other people, especially women. And then he goes out with Aaliyah for a lunch, and you know the way that he talks to her. Aaliyah dodged a bullet, and Aaliyah says it at the reunion that now she's happy with someone else, and like Aaliyah says that she and Uche dated for like a little bit after that lunch that they sat down, you know, in the last episode. And she said they dated and it was awful, that he was condescending, mean, which is exactly what we saw. The barbecue Uche totally sucked. And like, that's what she said she experienced with him. And Uche didn't even show up on the reunion. I'm like, of course not, because you suck. so like, okay, bye Uche. And I'm so happy for Aaliyah that she's found love, and she's like, I'm getting treated as a like a queen that I am, and she's so confident, and she's not going to tolerate someone disrespecting her. Like, this is huge. I'm such a fan of Aaliyah. I think that she, you know, like, did she run away? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of how that happened. She let what Lydia was saying affect her. Do I feel like Lydia really was like evil and had bad intentions with how she was blabbing on and on to Aaliyah? No, I don't. After hearing Lydia talk and hearing her, I'm also Latina. Like, I get it. Like, we talk a lot. I have my own freaking podcast. Like, this is what we do. Like, we talk. We have a lot of things to say. We have things to say. And like, I don't think Lydia's intention was like, let me tell you all these things to mess with your head and screw your relationship. I don't feel that. I'm surprised with how much I like Lydia. By the end of the reunion, I'm such a fan of her. I'm like, yay, Lydia. Okay, and then so let's go on. Stacy and Izzy. Okay, stop. This is like such a learning lesson for you guys, for real. Okay, Izzy kept saying, okay, this is like the last two episodes. Izzy's like saying, I'm gonna fight for you. I'm gonna fight for you. No matter what, I'm gonna fight for you. This is a problem. Like this makes it like, when you are with your person, it shouldn't feel like you have to be fighting all the time. And it's not like you're fighting with like fighting for this to work. That's a freaking problem. That tells you a lot. When you are with your person, you guys are aligned. That means your values and all these things that really matter to you, the way that you live, right? That is aligned. And so that's the thing. When you're with the right person, you are aligned with, it's not about, oh my God, we have to fight for each other to make this work. Like, that's not it. That's not what happens. The huge, like, and I mentioned this before, okay, is that whole money issue. And it was revealed on like last episode where he was hiding some kind of secret. Oh my gosh, lying by omission, which, by the way, that is a freaking lie. That's dishonesty when you're withholding information. And I am all about honesty and transparency. And it looks like, and he confesses basically on the reunion, Izzy says, you know, he's kind of embarrassed. He has a low credit score. He had a bad credit score, he said. Okay, so this is where Stacy, who busted her butt, is a hard worker, has like a killer house that she bought, and this Mercedes, and all of her life together. Now she has this guy fighting for her. Oh, thank you, Izzy, for fighting for me. But do I even want to be with you? Liar. Lying, hiding things about your credit score. Like, what else are you hiding? This doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. Like, I just feel Stacy did the right thing. Like, I am actually happy they broke up. There are so many good things about them, but I feel like there was that red flag, that one red flag, how he withheld what he was embarrassed about, the bad credit score. That wasn't going to be the end of it. I just feel like you have a moral compass. You are going to be honest and transparent about all the things. And you want a secure man that is secure in himself, that, you know, he can own whatever he's done and have, you know, like, just be able to communicate that and be confident in that. And him not, and just like being like withholding. And so like right before the wedding, it's like, what are you doing? That's so shady. So shady, Izzy. And yeah, no. And so, and then the other thing that I want you guys to understand is when someone tells you, like, this is like such a cautionary tale. I love this show because it's like, if someone tells you, I'm going to fight for you, I'm going to fight for you, you don't need to, because I'm already gone. Like, you don't need to. I am gone. Like, good for you, Stacy. Good for you. Oh my gosh. I was so like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, please tell me they didn't get back together. And they didn't. So that's good. Okay, stop. I have to tell you about Johnny and Chris. I did not see that coming. What happened on the reunion? Okay, so Johnny and Chris ended up dating after, right? After Johnny rejected Chris, went for Izzy. Izzy rejected Johnny, went for Stacy. Johnny, says, oh, let me go for Chris, and so that was bad. That was really bad. It was awful. I'm like, okay, Chris, and I felt like Chris dodged a bullet because, Johnny, I'm not a big fan of anyway. But after the show, they did date, Johnny and Chris. Chris seemed like a really nice guy, but he's not. He is not. On the reunion, it comes out that Chris cheated on Johnny. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know. The way that it all happened too sounds just so awful. He went to a wedding and like never called Johnny back. It was like, what? He went to a wedding out of the state and he like never called her back. And like they all, like Chris was there. It's like, yep, I'm not proud of what happened. I'm not happy with how I did that and how I handled it. And I'm like, are you kidding me, Chris? Like, what are you talking about? And then he says something like, oh, I always defend the people I love. And freaking Vanessa Lachey is the best. She's like, wait a second, like you defended her when you cheated on her or something along the lines like, you're so full of shit. Like basically, he's saying, oh, Vanessa says, okay, so you would defend the person you love, but you went out and cheated on her. So there's kind of like bullshit, right? And Chris is like, oh, that's true. No, that's right. I'm so sorry. That's right. He goes, but you would cheat on someone that you loved? And he goes, yeah, I guess I would. That's what it was. Oh, you would defend them, but you also cheat on them. Okay, so that doesn't make sense, Chris. Bye. Chris, I can't with you. I cannot with you. Like, it's just no. And Johnny, like, I'm not a fan of, but no one deserves that. Obviously, that's awful. So I felt for her, And then the last, but super not least, JP and Taylor. Okay, JP. I like my little, like my heart, like I feel for him. I'm like, what's happened to you? Like, I just like don't understand. JP, like the way that he struggled to communicate with Taylor. You guys, like, tell me you were not cringing. Like, what is going on with them? They would not communicate. And it was just awful. And now they're on the reunion. And even the way he speaks, I'm like, what's up with you, dude? Like, what is up? Like, he needs therapy. Like, and therapy is a good thing. I suggest therapy for everybody. Like, seriously, you start at a young age, like as a child. But I think he's gone through things. And like, Taylor, oh my God, she's amazing. She looked absolutely gorgeous. Everyone, all the ladies looked amazing. But Taylor is like, I'm so happy for her that she's moved forward. And I love that she said something that is so important to note. She was like, I'm taking the lessons learned from this failed relationship. And so this is key. And she said to him, like, I hope you don't do this to anyone else in the future. Like, she is so mature, emotionally mature, the way that she handled that. And she did mention she had a little regret leaving earlier and not playing it out and seeing what would happen. But I feel at the end of the day, especially seeing JP on the reunion, he hasn't changed. And that's not our job to like fix you and help you. And you see some potential, like the red flag were like the writing was on the wall, on that like honeymoon wall. And it was like, no. So Taylor, no regrets. Like, you did amazing, seriously. And you look amazing, and you have this beautiful light about you. And I'm not worried about you, Taylor. I'm worried about JP. I'm like, poor JP. I think he needs like a hug from his family and needs some therapy and needs to like really start to communicate. Take those walls down, and like, the way that he navigated all of it was a mess. It really was. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was such a good season of Love is Blind. I want to hear what you guys thought. Do you guys agree? Do you guys like not like Uche as much as I don't either? Do you like Lydia now like I do? Like, are we on the Lydia and Milton train now? Are you going to date someone 10 years younger? Like, what are we doing? I want to hear your plans. Like, I want to hear how you're inspired and you're like, oh my God, I'm definitely going to dump this guy that is actually reminding me of Uche, condescending and mean. Like, I want you guys to reflect and be like, oh my gosh, this is totally me. And like own it and then take steps and like, oh my gosh, I love watching this show and I love talking about it with you, and I appreciate you for listening. So please reach out to me on Instagram, the Jackie Loor. If you're following me on YouTube, leave a comment. I want to hear about it. I reply and read every single thing. I really do. I love connecting with everybody here. And with that, I want to send you so much love. Do not settle for anything less than crazy love, because it has to be crazy love or nothing.